I've got my newest pair of cozy hand-knit socks on, and I'm ready to talk about my plans for Summer Sock Camp 2022. Hi, my name is Emily. Welcome to Crochet Creations, my YouTube channel. I like to talk about all things yarny. I wanted to specifically talk today about my plans for Summer Sock Camp 2022. If you haven't heard of this make-along, it's hosted by the crazy sock lady, Kate Litton, and she's been doing this for a couple years now, for basically the whole summer. So for about 3 months, there is a mega sock along. Knit socks, crochet socks, whatever method, whatever pattern. It's super open-ended, and basically the idea is to just hype everyone up and get everyone excited about making socks. They're a great small project to have around during the summer when maybe you don't want to be working on a really warm, cozy, ginormous project like a blanket or a sweater or something. So it's nice to have something lightweight and that's easier to take around with you when you are traveling for the summer, and easier to get outside and not be overwhelmed by the weight or the heat of it. Socks are a great project. I love them year round, but especially in the summer, I think it's a great option for something to work on if you want to crochet or knit a project during the summer. There's prizes associated, but it's just a really fun opportunity to make some socks and to encourage others in their making journeys as well. And since it is a very long make-along, about 3 months long, then it's a great opportunity to set some goals and make some plans and see what kind of socks come out of this giant sock making experience. As a fairly new knitter, I learned to knit last year because I wanted to participate in Summer Sock Camp. I was excited about the prospect of knitting socks in general, and it was Summer Sock Camp 2021 that really inspired me to just sit down and learn how to knit so that I could knit a pair of socks for Summer Sock Camp. And last year I was able to complete 4 pairs of socks, 1 for myself, 1 for my husband, and 2 for my daughter Georgia. You can learn more about my entire sock knitting journey. You can check out one of my latest videos about knitting socks, as I have knit socks for a whole year now, and everything that I've made, what I've learned, all that stuff. I share all the details there, so you can check it out. For this year, I am more intentional about going into Summer Sock Camp and what I want to make, and so I wanted to share kind of 3 different categories with you. I've got projects that I want to make, a little bit vaguer, but things I want to make sure I do. Specific patterns I want to knit or crochet so that I can cross those off different to make lists that I have. And then I also have specific goals for my making. I want to say sock knitting, but I know that I have some crochet on this list too. So my sock knitting and crocheting goals so that I can broaden my skills, learn other techniques, and feel more comfortable in general with knitting or crocheting socks. So let's dive right in. Always interrupted by airplanes. Before I get into anything, let's talk about Summer Sock Camp as a whole. So I'll make sure to link Kayla in, or the Crazy Sock Lady's YouTube channel down below. You can learn more about this make-along. It is running this year from May 28th, which is today, the day I'm filming this, and I think it runs through August 31st. It's usually about a 3-month long thing. Memorial Day weekend in the United States is this weekend, and so I think that's part of the reason why Kay wanted to start just a few days before June 1st, because this is prime sock knitting time, having the long weekend off, and the weather's nicer. It's the start of summer. It's Memorial Day weekend here in the United States, and so I think that's partly why it's starting a little earlier. But you can learn more about that from Kay's channel. There's also specific ways to get entries and all that. I'm not a Summer Sock Camp expert or ambassador or anything. I just want to participate. So if you want to learn more, definitely check out her channel so you can learn all about that. Feel free to ask any questions down in the comments below. I love chatting with you down there, and so we can chat that way, but here is not the place to give you all the details on Summer Sock Camp because Kay did that. Here is just talking about the things that I want to do specific for Summer Sock Camp. So let's get into that. Okay, first and foremost, let's talk about some more general projects that I want to make sure I do during Summer Sock Camp. And these are a little bit more vague. I might not have a specific pattern or a specific technique I want to learn or practice, but they are things I want to make sure that I do. This is probably the biggest category. I definitely need to narrow down my focus on what I want to do. But first and foremost, I want to knit Christmas socks for my entire family. Now this past year I knit Christmas socks for my immediate family, myself, my husband, my daughter, and we had Christmas socks to wear on Christmas Eve. It was so cozy and such a cute little tradition. I look forward to doing this every year, but specifically this project goal, I want to knit socks for my brothers and my parents. Since I am now more comfortable with knitting socks, I've knit quite a few. I've even started knitting socks for other people besides my very immediate family, and so I would love to knit socks for my parents and my brothers this coming year. And you're wondering, why am I doing this in June, July, August when Christmas isn't until December? Partly it's because I'm getting on top of things. Go me. I'm awesome. But another reason is because I wanted to do a review on some sock yarns that Knit Picks offers. I've always loved working with Knit Picks yarn. They have a ton of different sock yarn options, and so I am continuing my series of reviewing different sock yarns that you can get more commercially available. I have a video on Michael's sock yarns that I tried out and reviewed, and I am going to be working on a video about different Knit Picks yarns. I'm starting out, like this part one of the video is working with Knit Picks Stroll line. So the Stroll is a 75-25 merino nylon base, but they have multiple types of stroll yarns, and so I bought some of each so I can try them out. And I have plans to make socks for my whole family. Probably vanilla, but I'm not quite sure. I might switch it up a little or maybe design a sock. I'm not sure. Something fairly simple though, because really the point is to make the socks fit. It's not to try out new techniques or, try out a new pattern per se. I have got, this is Stroll hand-painted in the Hummingbird colorway. I plan to make socks for my mom. She loves teals, blues, greens, all that stuff. This is a Stroll Tonal in the color Train Station. I'm planning on making socks for my twin brother because he did not tell me what color he wanted. He still has not given me his measurements. He's going for a tonal black. I think that he will appreciate them. That's what he's getting, because who knows what his favorite color is. He didn't tell me. For my brother's yarn, super funny. So he has been kind of a butt about getting his measurements and telling me even what he likes, which is why I picked this tonal black gray. I was joking around that I would make him some itty bitty socks like my tiny tree sock that I've made. He actually thought that this was a sock for a cat because he has a cat. So I think as a joke with leftover yarn I have, I'm going to make him some kitten mittens, some little booties for his cat. So that is also the plan, so I can send them with his socks so that he and his cat can match. For my other brother, I'm going to be using black and red because those are the two colors he wanted for socks. Do you sense a trend with my brothers? So this is just black and this is strawberry. You can tell my toddler got to it. But I'm going to be making my little brother socks with this. Probably going to do a black sock with a red heel-toe cuff, something like that. It's kind of what I'm thinking. He likes ankle socks, so I'll probably start those first since that'll be easy to just knock out of the way. And then lastly, for my dad, he is a businessman. He goes into work, and I thought it would be nice to make him some navy blue socks. This is Stroll Tweed, and this is Prussian Heather. So these will match a pair of pants that he has for work, I'm sure. So those are the socks I'm planning on making for my family. I guess it's my extended family, the immediate family that I came from before I started my own family. I also have plans to make out of this Stroll gradient yarn, this is Prickly Pear, to make socks for myself. I'm gonna do my own striping by separating all the colors and making some socks. So that will also be part of that Stroll yarn review video that I'll be having sometime this summer, hopefully in, I think July is my goal to get the socks done, but I have plans to make mostly vanilla or vanilla plus style socks for my family for Christmas. Another project that I want to do is make a pair of Christmas socks for myself in July. People kind of celebrate a Christmas in July. I think it's kind of like just a fun little party idea. I don't know, but Christmas in July, I thought it might be fun to make a pair of Christmas socks for myself in July this year. Partly it's because I love Christmas colors, I love the feeling of Christmas, and so I have kind of a lot of Christmas themed yarn, and because of that I think it'd be fun to make a pair of Christmas socks now so I could wear them all Christmas season. I'm sure I'll make more Christmas socks later on in the year closer to Christmas, but it might be fun to make a pair now. So I pulled out all the Christmas yarn I have, Christmas colorways, Christmas colors, named after Christmassy things, and I've got a few choices. I'm not sure which one I will use, but I've got a couple skeins from Bella Filato Studios. This one is called Noel. I've got Christmas Cookies sock set. I've got a few from Woolberry Fiber. This is called Vintage Ornament. Not super Christmassy, so that might be good for now. And Christmas Cocoa. Yum, yum, yum. I have another hot chocolate themed skein. This one's called Peppermint Cocoa from Mama Jess Knits. So I've got lots of options. I might make a pair of Christmas socks. Another kind of vague idea, though I definitely need to find a pattern for this. I wanted to make a pair of crochet socks. I've made one pair before, and I followed the Jack and Jill sock pattern by Snowdrop Creates, and I would love to make another pair or two of crochet socks before diving into designing my own pairs. It's a different fabric to crochet socks than to knit socks, and so I need a little bit more practice before I can be confident in sizing and knowing how that fabric will behave in a very fitted way in a sock, for example, and so I want to practice. I've got this yarn. I've had it caked up for a while. It is Shirsty Cat Designs in the color Dust Bunny. Super cute, like super pale lavender base with some darker plum colored speckles and a little bit of like gold colored speckles too. Super pretty. I love this color, and I thought that since it's already skeined up and ready to go, that it might be fun to make some crochet socks out of this yarn. They're different sizes, but that's because this cake is wound up way tighter than this one. But they're about the same, about 50 grams each. And I need to find a pattern, so if you have any crochet sock patterns that you would recommend for fingering weight yarn, drop them down below, because I would love to try out some new pairs and just, you know, experiment so I can figure out how I would want to design my own pair of crochet socks, because there aren't a lot of patterns out there. I would love to create some crochet socks for the world. Speaking of sock designs, I have two different sock designs that I would love to come out with this summer. The first, I have my yarn right here. This is unnamed skein from Sundial Designs in this beautiful like corally red tonal color, and this skein inspired me because it is exactly the same shades as the red yucca plant. I bought this skein in Arizona. I'll link my vlog up above. We went to Arizona. My husband had a work trip, and I went to Tempe Yarn and Fiber, and they had some beautiful, beautiful yarns. I loved it. You can see it in the vlog, but I picked this skein because it matched the red yucca plant, which I saw all over the place there, and it's this beautiful, beautiful plant, beautiful coloring, and I wanted to design a sock to commemorate that trip and to use this beautiful hand-dyed yarn from that area. I don't know, just all the inspiration. I'm so excited. It's going to be kind of like a lacy, little bit textured design, so I'm planning on getting that started today even. I think that'll be my first summer sock camp cast on, is starting the cuff for this design. I have another design in mind. I don't have the yarn handy because it is somewhere in my whip pile over there, and it's not as much of a priority. It is a granny square inspired sock design. I want to combine crochet and knitting in the same sock to highlight granny squares. That design I'm hoping to come out with in August, right around Granny Square Day. I think is August 15th this year, and so that is also on the docket, so keep an eye out for that. If you are a crocheter and a knitter, I would love your help on that design. So keep an eye out for a testing call as I reveal that design later on this summer. This last yarn-specific project idea involves this Cascade Yarns alpaca lace. I've had this yarn for years. I bought it on my very first trip to a yarn store like 3 or 4 years ago, and it's this beautiful pale lavender color. It is so soft. Alpaca lace. Oh my goodness. I bought these skeins because the worker at the yarn store told me that these would make great lace socks, and I wasn't a knitter then, and I still bought them because I loved the concept. So on my Stash Make 9, which I'll link up above, I talk about making some lace weight socks. I need to find a pattern, so if you know a pattern for lace weight socks, because it's kind of hard to find. There's a lot of fingering weight socks, and even quite a few DK weight, but lace weight socks are hard to find. So if you have a pattern, let me know. But I would love to make a pair of lace weight socks to use this beautiful, scrumptious, so soft yarn this summer. That would be awesome to use that up from my long-term stash. I've had this yarn for a while. It needs to become a pair of lace weight socks. Also, I'm sorry if you hear any screaming outside. We have a park like really close, and there's lots of kids here, so lots of screeching. Also a pool nearby. So there's just lots of noises. I apologize. I have a microphone on to hopefully help with the noise. But anyway, let's get back into it. Patterns. I wanted to talk about some patterns that I want to follow. These are specific patterns that I either have on a to make list that I definitely want to make sure I do. I will be knitting a lot of vanilla and pretty easy pattern socks, I think, this summer sock camp, but I do want to tackle a few patterns that I've had on my to make list. First and foremost, I want to make the July socks by Laura Moorats. This pattern is on my Make 9 list because I knew I needed at least one pair of knit socks on my Make 9 list, and I already have this pattern. I got it when Laura released the pattern, and I've just been waiting, kind of trying to figure out what yarn I want to use. This yarn, seriously so beautiful. I could have a whole wardrobe in this color, but this is by Explorer Knits and Fibers. The main color is called Moonstone, and this mini is called Untamed. I think I will use this skein in order to make the July socks. Beautiful, beautiful pattern. Beautiful, beautiful yarn. I think it'll be a great match. I'm really looking forward to it. And I guess it's called the July socks, so I should work on them in July, right? Right? Another pair of socks from a Make 9 list, though this one is my gifts Make 9 list. I want to make a pair of socks for my husband. His birthday is in August, and I made a pair of socks for his birthday last year. That was also part of summer sock camp. I did the dad joke socks by Black Squirrel Berkeley, so that's a free pattern. I'll link it down below, but I wanted to make him a pair of Fox's Day Out socks by Stone Knits, and oh my gosh, this pattern is so cute and has cute little colorwork foxes on it. My husband loves, loves, loves foxes, and even better, he loves Arctic foxes more than regular foxes, so I thought it would be so fun. I have this leftover Squirrel yarn that I've used many times in different colorwork patterns. It's just a nice warm cream color. It's called Cardigan. It's from their Taylor Swift collection, and I have this yarn from Woolbury Fiber. I originally bought it because I thought, I can make a pair of socks for my husband with that, and I really like this tonal and wanted to use it with a different skein of Woolbury Fiber. This is Far Off Lands. This is Maine, and I'm not sure what the mini is. It's not labeled on here. I think that this would work really well together as like a trio to make Arctic foxes with the blue background and then have a little bit of the gold. I think amount-wise, I might need more of the gold color to do the pattern as written, and so I might just switch the pattern around a little bit, maybe not do as much of the color work so I can get by with just using the 20-gram mini. But that is my plan for his birthday, so I need to finish those by the end of August. So that is the plan. It'll be a great stash buster using yarn I already have that I think he'll really enjoy. Okay, the last specific pattern that I want to make is the Glimmer socks by Bloom Creates. This is a mini skein pattern, and it uses 5 different minis. I got a mini skein set from Daisy Stitch Co., a mystery mini skein set that I thought would be great to use on this pattern, and I've swapped out one of the colors to use something else that everything is falling apart because they're just little cakes. Anyway, so I bought a few 50-gram mystery skeins from Daisy Stitch Co., and I got a mystery skein mini set from Daisy Stitch Co. in the same order, and so I've just swapped in this color. Oh, geez. So I've just swapped in this 50-gram skein. I think this is beautiful, beautiful. This will go in the Glimmer socks, and then these 4 colors were also in the mini skein set, so I think this will be a really fun color grouping. These 3 colors go really well together, and then these 2 will be really fun pops of color for like a contrast heel and toe and cuff and things like that. So that is my plan to make the Glimmer socks, and I think it'll stretch me a little bit playing with color, and I got the pattern as soon as it came out. I'm really excited to work on a fun, fairly simple all-over colorwork design. Alright, last section of things I want to talk about for my summer sock camp plans and goals. This is my goals section. So these are different techniques and skills that I want to learn and practice in order to become a better sock knitter this year. First and foremost, I have a goal to knit a pair of socks exclusively on DPNs. I've tried a little bit of DPN usage before. I've made a couple sleeves with DPNs. Not my favorite, but it worked okay. I started a sock or 2 on DPNs, and it just, it was too slippery. I've got some metal DPNs. It wasn't working great for me. So I think for my first pair of DPN socks, it'll work really well to have a pair of bamboo needles. So I got a set of bamboo DPN needles. I think they're Knitter's Pride. And I'm looking forward to tackling it. I think one of the hardest parts about learning a new skill is consistency and practice, and when it's really easy for me to just scrap a cast on because it's not working well and move back to my other needles. I'm not going to let myself do that this time. I'm going to commit to probably just a vanilla sock on DPNs. I'm not allowed to use anything else. I have to keep up with it. I think having an entire pair of socks knit on DPNs will really strengthen my comfort level with DPNs and help me to become more efficient at using them and to learn how to avoid ladders with them and to just get a consistent tension. I think that it'll take practice, but I won't get that practice unless I make sure I'm only knitting that pair of socks with DPNs and I'm not switching and giving up. I'm not going to give up this time. I'm not quitting. I'm going to do it. Another goal that I have set for my sock knitting this summer is to learn the Fish Lips Kiss heel. And I've heard a lot about this heel specifically from Natty. She loves this heel, and I've done a couple random short row heel patterns, but mostly I've done a heel flap and gusset, which I do really enjoy and I'm very comfortable with, and it would be fun to stretch myself and learn some other heel constructions. And specifically the Fish Lips Kiss heel, I've heard great things about it from Natty. It's only a $1 pattern. I would love to knit a pair of socks with the Fish Lips Kiss heel and to test out that method and see how much I like it, how much I like the fit. I think the pattern also includes ways that you can modify the heel in order to fit you a little better. I like that hand holding for when you're first starting out on a new technique so that you're not just left with, oh, this is how you do a short row heel, and you don't have any help if it's not quite what you're looking for. So I'm really looking forward to trying that out and seeing if I can get a really good fit. It might take a couple socks to figure that out, but that is my hope. Speaking of techniques I want to be more comfortable with, I want to knit a pair of toe-up socks for me. I've knit a few for my daughter. My first pair ever that I knit for myself were toe-up. I quickly abandoned that. So I tried to knit a pair of socks recently that were toe-up for myself, and I just had so many issues with the fit, and I had issues with the bind off. I had issues with the gusset, and it just like stalled my progress, like adding stitches every other round. Like I just got so slow and it was so hard to finish. But I really want to become more comfortable at toe-up socks, so I want to knit at least one pair of socks toe-up this sock camp. Finally, as far as goals that I have for my sock knitting, I would love to knit a sock tube. A sock tube can be cranked or hand knit, but basically you just cast on your number of stitches and you knit. You just knit the whole tube, like long. You knit the leg, you knit the foot, you knit the next foot, you knit the next leg. It's just, you basically use up all your yarn to knit the sock the size you want. And then you go back in and you cut your yarn, your sock tube, so that you can put in a heel, toe, and cuff on both of your socks. And it's a really interesting method of construction, afterthought, heel, toe, and cuff. And I really want to try it. I think it would be fun to have a sock tube to just have in the car as like emergency car knitting that I can just, it's vanilla, I could just knit till my yarn runs out, and then I can go back in and add the other bits. I think it'll just be really fun and interesting and something different, so I would love to do that. I do not have a way to crank my own sock tube, and that's okay. I could always send my yarn off to someone who does do that, and so that's something fun that I've thought about. But I think it would be really fun for my first sock tube to just knit it myself and try it out, because if it's a method I really enjoy knitting, then that could be really fun, especially for like knitting gifts for people or donations or whatnot, since it's a lot of mindless knitting and then some fun seeing this tube become a sock in not too long as you're adding the extra parts. I would love to do that. All right, so thank you so much for joining me for this video. I loved sharing with you all my thoughts, plans, goals, things that I have in mind for this summer sock camp 2022. I've learned so much with knitting socks, and I'm really excited for this chance to spend a lot of time making socks this summer. I have lots of plans. If you saw all this yarn that I have over here, oh my goodness, I'm sure I will not get through all of these socks, but it's exciting to think about all my ideas and plans and what socks I would like to make, and then I guess we'll come back in a few months and see what I actually got around to. It'll be cool to see what I make from these plans and goals that I have, and to see how my sock knitting has changed. Maybe my preferences will change as far as knitting socks with this big sock making experience. If you are joining in summer sock camp, let me know down below what you have as far as goals and plans for your sock knitting or sock crocheting over the next few months. I will see you next time. Happy making. Bye.